back to We're Having Fun. We're having fun. I'm Mark. Hi.
Hi, I'm Krista.
Hi, Krista.
I felt like I was yelling that for a second. I'm Krista.
Hello. It is a great day to be alive, and we're here to have some fun.
Okay, sure.
That's our new intro slogan.
Don't like it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know where it came from, but we'll roll with it. Trying to think if there's anything we need to talk about, but I don't think there is.
No, I don't think so.
Nope. All right. Well, I guess we can just move on into it then.
I mean, honestly, we should probably just get straight into it because this is a Harry Potter episode,
Yeah.
and you know how it's
Gonna be a long one.
get kind of in depth, so
Yeah. It might be
I'll try
shorter
not
this
to.
time. We'll see.
yeah, because the second movie is not really my favorite,
Yeah.
so it's probably one of my least favorites of the whole series.
Okay.
So hopefully this will not be a 2-hour episode.
I mean, that's good to hear, but we'll talk about that because,
Because it's also not
it
your
might
favorite.
not be my favorite either. I've only seen 2 of them so far, but yeah. But first, we got to talk about Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Our favorite series. I mean, at least it was not as many flashbacks this time. I want to just see that Bacta tank just get destroyed, because every time he goes in there, it goes to a flashback, and I don't want that anymore. Let's just get rid of that stupid thing.
I think we probably won't be getting any more.
You don't think so?
Probably not, but I don't know. We might.
He's still got to take out that biker gang.
I guess, unless that happens later.
I don't think so.
Like in present day kind of stuff.
Because it's been a while.
Okay.
I don't know, though.
I don't know. But,
because there was the whole time of the Mandalorian. He was really messing around during the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so each time he gets into the Bacta tank, he starts having, like, these flashbacks and everything.
Yeah.
But, like, at one point in this episode, he's like, go put him in the Bacta tank, talking about the Gamorrean guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we see flashbacks for him?
Yeah, we were hoping.
I think that would be fun.
Hoping to see those. That would have been good.
I don't think it's going to happen, but come on.
It would have been great. Well, this episode starts out with a surprise appearance by Stephen Root.
Yes.
He's a water salesman. Mm-hmm. He's a middleman for the water sales.
And there are some hoodlums that have stolen...
Some street toughs.
Yeah, stole his water.
Yeah, and he's pissed.
He's real pissed off about it.
He also says that there's no respect for Boba out on the street. Nobody cares about him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah. He's like, hey, you go stop this street gang. It'll help. I'll start believing in you. I
mean, honestly, there's not much respect for him in this household right now either, so.
I mean, it's true. It's been a rough couple episodes.
And considering there's only been like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably get through this little section of the podcast pretty quickly.
Yeah, probably. So Boba confronts the street toughs.
Yes.
And they're like, we're not working.
There are no jobs.
Water's expensive.
This is the only thing that we can do to get money. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, well, you can work for me. And they're like, okay, problem solved. And then Stephen Root comes out. He's like, what the heck is happening here?
No, you're supposed to take them down.
What is this?
Yeah.
So.
And he's like, you're charging too much for water. Stop it. Here's $500. Take it.
That's all you get.
That's all you get. You don't get $1,500 or whatever. Get out of here. And he does. That's it. That's resolved. And then we get the flashback.
Yeah, because he gets back in the back to
He's got to heal up after that huge confrontation.
Yeah, where he walked down the street.
Seriously, he's always in that back to tank, man. Dude, it has an addiction.
So yeah, he has another flashback.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts off, of course, he's with the Tusken Raiders, and he's like riding his bantha and everything, looking all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school.
Yes. The fish people are like, yeah, I told my overlords or whatever that you're asking for money, but we're already paying the biker gang.
Yeah, the speeder bike gang. I can't remember their names. I can't remember the names of anything in this at this point. I'm like, I don't know. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
There's too many different groups, and I'm not really interested in them.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But the fish people are pikes. I did get that.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty easy to remember.
It's an easy one, yeah. So they're like, hey, you take out that biker gang, we'll we'll start paying you. It'll be great. Mm-hmm. He's like, all right.
I guess I can do that.
I'm on it.
So he leaves and he goes back to his little Tusken Raider group, but they're all dead.
They're dead and it's on fire. Which, were they all there? Was it all of them? I don't think it was all of them.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they would have made a bigger point of, like, showing the chief and showing the kid.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
so maybe they got away.
Because I can't tell the difference between all of them anyway.
Wow, racist.
Yes, I am. I am Tusken racist. You know, I'm not
it's okay. I said the exact same thing. I was like, I don't know who these people are. So.
I'm not a Tusken Raider. I'm a Tusken racist.
I mean, none of them have names that we know of.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to get attached to them.
Yeah.
I do like the kid.
Sure.
But
I guess. I mean,
they look like all the other kids.
Yeah.
So
if you threw them in a group of Tusken Raider kids, I'd be like, I don't know which one. Yeah.
Because they all just wear the same masks and clothes and everything. I'm like, I don't know.
And he burns their bodies, and he burns their weapons.
Yes.
And he pulls out a small stick.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that stick? And you're like, I'm not watching, I don't care. So I rewound it. And I'm like, what is that stick? And you're like, I don't know what that stick is. But they put so much importance on it, like, oh, this stick. Everybody remembers this stick.
And I'm like, no.
I don't know what that stick is. I don't care.
I mean, was it part of the branch that he had? I don't think so.
They made all of that into his weapon, didn't they?
That's what I thought. So I have no idea what the significance of that stick is.
I don't know. It's who cares?
But I mean, it was like close up on this stick.
Yeah,
it's like okay,
it's a big deal.
Okay, cool. Don't know what that is.
Whatever.
Maybe it's some kind of Easter egg that we just don't know.
Yeah, the Boba stick.
Sure.
Likely we get pulled out of that flashback with evil Chewie ripping him out of there. And if you ever wanted to see Boba Fett fight in a diaper, this is your episode.
This is your chance. Because he fights in a diaper.
I hate this.
I was like,
so stupid.
He's all oily and in a diaper.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
And evil Chewie's hugging him and cracking his back.
Yeah, and he's fine.
Yeah, it sounded bad. He looked real bad.
He looked like he was dead,
fine.
But he was okay. He got back up. But the evil Chewie's name is Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, Chrysanthemum.
Because we kept getting like Chrysanthemum? Yeah. Chrysanthemum.
The street toughs come in and help.
Well, apparently he's from, like, comic books.
Yeah,
he shows up in, like, the Darth Vader comic books.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't read
Or maybe not the Darth Vader ones, but there's another one called, like, Dr. Afra.
Oh, yeah, I know Dr.
And
Afra.
He shows up in those.
Okay,
because I think she, like, owes him money or something.
Yeah.
But they call him... it's not Chrysanthemum. They call him, in the comic books, they call him Black Chrysanthemum.
Oh, yeah, they do.
It's like... Okay.
I think I did this on one of my other podcasts.
I'm like, why?
We did this.
Why are you gonna say it like that?
I had that same thing of like, why are they calling him Black?
Why can't you just call him Chrysanthemum? Is his first name Black? Maybe his first name's Black. I don't know.
It's dumb.
I don't know.
But yeah. They all gang up on him, pretty much position him perfectly over the Rancor pit trapdoor.
Yes.
And they send him down into the pit.
Yes, but there's not a Rancor beast down there.
There's still not.
It's still empty, so that they're just keeping him there as like his little cage.
Mm-hmm.
So then they hear that the Hutts are outside.
Hutt twins.
So the Hutt twins show up, and they're like...
Sorry.
So this is how it's divided, or maybe they talk about how everything's divided earlier. I can't remember. There were too many names. There was too much stuff going on. But the Hutts are like, you know what? We're out.
They gave a quick history. Pretty much they're saying the people that are said to have actual claim is the mayor, and he's working with the Pikes, I guess.
Yes.
And they're the ones that are claiming the land or whatever.
Yeah, and the Hutts are like, but we're out. We're going back to... Hutto or whatever the place is.
Hutto, right?
I think it was.
So stupid.
I'm like, all right. And so like, but before we leave, we're going to give you this nice little gift. Yeah. And what is it?
It's Machete.
Well, I was going to say the new Rancor, but sure, Danny Trejo's also there.
Which is more valuable? Come on.
I mean, honestly, Danny Trejo.
I'd take Danny Trejo over a Rancor.
So yeah, it's like a baby Rancor, basically. Yeah. And so Danny Trejo's like, I've always wanted to train a Rancor. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's your life's ambition. I mean, sure,
whatever
why not?
You say, buddy.
It's like, you do you, I guess.
Yeah.
So
they try to give the Wookiee back to the Hutts.
Oh yeah, and they're like, yeah, we don't want him.
Yeah, we're good.
So they let him go, and he just like runs off.
Like, okay, Wookiee.
Just gets out of there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Rancor beast, it's like a baby, and
it's depressed.
It's depressed. It's depressed. It's just laying there.
It's blinded by blinders.
Yeah, they have blinders on it because apparently the first person that it sees, it will imprint on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we really going the Twilight route here with imprinting? Come on. So
that Rancor's gonna marry that baby vampire.
Oh no. I hate it. I hate imprinting so much.
It's so stupid. It's the worst.
So I guess it's not too bad on this because it's more like it'll see whoever it is as like a parent kind of thing. So of course, like they take the blinders off, and Boba Fett's like,
Boba
"I will
front.
be your father figure."
Yeah, he scratches his little neck.
Yeah, he's like, "Is that the spot?"
It was so weird.
Yeah,
like what a weird thing this was.
So anyway, I guess he has a pet Rancor now. So
do you think Danny Trejo and the Rancor are going to turn on him, though? Are they?
Well, I don't know if the Rancor can turn on him now. Unless
he's lying.
Unless he's lying.
Which is very possible.
It could be that he brought him there with blinders, but Danny Trejo had actually already seen it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Had already looked at Danny Trejo, and Danny Trejo's actually...
He's already got it trained.
He's imprinted on Danny Trejo.
This is the Hutt's way of taking down Boba.
Maybe.
Probably.
So, I mean, do we trust Danny Trejo ever?
In real life, I would trust Danny Trejo.
Well, in real life.
But in character form, I've never trusted. Even as Machete. I've never seen those movies. I don't know how they go.
I also have not seen those movies.
So, yeah, since the mayor's the problem, they try to set up a meeting with him, but he's booked for the next few months or something.
And so, like, Fennec is like, oh, I'm sure you can find time for us, and like goes to her gun, and the guy's like, oh, I mean, I can go check.
Yeah.
So he goes into the room and he locks the door, and they're like, did you just lock the door? He just locked the door.
We didn't mention that they pulled up and the street toughs are following them on their individually colored Vespa jet skis.
They're speeders. They're little...
They look so stupid.
I was like...
They look like Vespas.
I was like, are they the Power Rangers? Because they each have their own little color.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, so
the mayor's assistant takes off in a car.
Yes.
And we get a car chase.
There's a car chase, or a speeder chase.
Was it me, or did that look like the worst chase I've ever seen?
It was pretty bad, and there was one point where I was like, oh no. The CGI here did not work. It was so
bad.
There was something about it. One of them like slid.
Yes.
And the way they slid, I was like,
oh, it was bad.
I didn't like that.
And like they tried to make it like seem like it was going fast, but it felt
Those
so
slow. So slow.
They were so slow. The car was so slow. They could have run after this thing, and it would have been more exciting.
It could have taken a bantha.
Yes. A dead bantha back there in the desert. They could have rolled it down the street, and it would have caught up to that car. This was the worst chase scene I've seen in a while.
I mean, honestly, Boba could have just, like, taken to his... Like, at the end, when they do finally stop him, Boba just shows up because he's, like, got his jetpack, and he just, like, jetpacks his way down to the ground. It's like...
Yeah.
Yo, what up? He could have just, like, jetpacked into the guy's car.
Yeah. A lot of things could have happened here. But, man, I
did not like this episode.
This episode was bad. I was like, finally, we're not going to be flashing back. It's like...
I miss those flashbacks.
Like, this is not good. The future sucks, too.
Because, like, last episode, I mean, because there was, like, the whole train heist kind of thing, which was pretty fun, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't
It was
great.
better than this.
Yeah, way better than this. This sucked.
I'm like, I miss those Tusken Raiders now.
Yeah. Ugh. So that was pretty much it. It's just like, we're going to talk or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It was one of those, it ended and I was just glad it was over.
Yeah. This was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, was it?
And it kind of felt like something that Robert Rodriguez directed.
I mean, I guess that's why Danny Trejo was in it. But didn't he not, I feel like he did one of the other 2 episodes too.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I don't remember which one.
Or maybe both of them. I don't know.
He's done 2 apparently.
Okay. And I feel like he did Mandalorian episodes too.
He did some, yeah. But when you're working with a good story, it's probably a lot easier to direct. Yeah, so
I don't know. It's rough.
It's getting bad. I
don't know.
It just gets worse and worse.
I don't know what to think about it. Because I want to like it because it's Star Wars, but also I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I sat there because there were several times where it was like, yeah, I'm just going to play on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not into this.
Yeah. And I liked the first episode all right, but now it's just been
yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not optimistic, but
no.
Maybe it'll pick up.
There are 7 episodes, so there are 4 episodes
We're
left.
not even halfway done.
And I'm like, oh
I feel
no.
like it's been going on forever.
I know. Because I was like, wait, this is only episode 3?
It's moving as fast as that car chase.
Yeah, basically.
So anyway, let's move on, because that sucked.
Okay.
So, as the title suggests, this week we watched Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our second Harry Potter movie.
Or as they have it on HBO Max, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets 2. It's like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
That's not how any of this works.
If you're going to put the number on there, put it
Harry Potter 2
elsewhere.
or Harry Potter 2.
Or
Harry
just
Potter,
put it at the top above the picture and then the title down at the bottom. Come on, just basic design stuff here, guys. So, yeah, and I was very surprised to find that this was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It is so long.
I was like,
oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, because the book is one of the shorter books. It may be actually the shortest book. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But like the first 2 books are pretty short.
Yeah.
And actually the third book isn't very long.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie was like 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
It's a long movie.
Why?
I know. I can see why this was the last movie I saw. I stopped it at the Spiders approximately and never went back.
Yeah, because why is it so long?
I don't know.
It does not need to be that long.
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a lot of stuff they could have cut. But yeah.
And they didn't cut a lot of stuff either, though. Because there's like only one thing that I know that they cut that I can think of right off the top of my head because we were talking about it yesterday. Right. I was like, oh yeah, that part's not even in the movie. Mm-hmm. That's literally the only thing that's not in the movie that's in the books. Yeah. I feel like, anyway.
Probably. Man, here we go.
I mean, there are actually, I think there are a couple of other parts that were in the book that weren't in the movie, because I want to say that when he shows up in Nocturne Alley at first, he hides because the Malfoys come into Morgan and Burke's.
Yeah, I was waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, and
nothing happened.
I thought that I thought I have seen those scenes. Yeah. So they may have filmed it, and there is like an extended thing. They do put some of the deleted scenes in there sometimes. Yeah. So maybe it was just a deleted scene that I saw.
Could be. I'm glad we did the shorter version.
Yeah. So I guess we should get into the movie. Mm-hmm.
We should. Okay. Starts out on Privet Drive, of course.
It does. It starts out on Privet Drive. He's in the house, and he's in his little room. Because now he has his own little room. And honestly, he had it. They didn't do it in the first movie, but in the first book, that's when he got his own room. Because when they kept getting all the letters, and they were for Harry Potter covered under the stairs, they were like, oh, maybe we should like give him his own room. So he kind of had his room in that one, but not in the movie version. Yeah. But yeah, he has his own room, and
Hedwig's losing his mind.
Her mind. Hedwig is a girl. It's mine. There you go. So yeah, Hedwig is freaking out because he can't let her out.
Yeah.
to like hunt or anything or she's just stuck in her cage all summer.
He doesn't want letters coming in,
and he also doesn't want people seeing an owl flying in and out of the house is what it is.
I mean,
it's Uncle Vernon. What do you expect? He's a jerk,
I guess. Yeah.
So anyway, Harry is, well, the Dursleys are having a dinner party kind of thing for Vernon's boss, Mr. Mason.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know who those people were.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, we're going to do all this stuff. It's going to be perfect. Harry, you stay out of the way. And he's like, okay, no problem. So he goes up to his room. Everything
I'd be fine with that arrangement.
Yeah.
I'd rather be Harry in this than Dudley.
Definitely.
All dressed up and crap.
Exactly. So the Masons show up. Harry is in his room, and that's when we get to meet Dobby for the first time.
Dobby. Dobby is jumping on the bed, just being a nuisance.
Yeah, exactly. And Harry's like, who are you? What are you doing jumping on my bed? And he's like...
Here we go.
No.
Here we go.
I don't think I can do...
See, I mentioned this while we were watching it, that I was very disappointed in the actor's voice because you always did the Dobby voice while we were reading it, and I like your version much better. So
I don't know why it's
so
probably,
here we go.
I'm sure it's terrible. I don't think I've ever heard myself do the voice.
It's great. You're gonna love it.
So when I listen back to this podcast, I'm gonna hate myself.
You're gonna love it. It's a great voice. I love it.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it.
I don't know I can do it now. I'm embarrassed. So I can't even remember what he says. Well, he does. He does. At some point, he does say, "Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts."
Yes, he's there to keep him from going.
Yeah.
And to beat himself up.
Yes, exactly. So anytime that he says something bad about his master, he has to hurt himself.
Yeah.
So he's just like taking a lamp and beating his head with it and like smacking his head up against the drawers and everything. Yeah. And Uncle Vernon's like, "What is going on up there?" He basically tells him, you shouldn't go back to Hogwarts. Dangerous things are going to happen this year. So you've got to stay away. And Harry's like, well, I mean, I have to go back because I can't stay here because these people hate me and I hate
I don't
being
belong here. I belong in your world.
Exactly. And Dobby's like, but your friends didn't even...
Nobody wrote you a letter.
Even write letters to you. And he's like, how did you know that? And he's like,
you little scamp.
Oh, probably because I stole all of them. So anyway, he chases Dobby down the hallway, and Dobby can do his own magic because house elves have a different kind of magic. Yeah. And so he uses his magic to float this cake over above Mrs. Mason's head. Yeah. And then drops it on her.
Well, Harry goes to stop this cake.
Yes.
And he does the worst job of trying to stop it.
He's like, let me just hold my hands out.
Yeah, I'll hold my hands out and walk very slowly toward the cake. And maybe that will stop it. It does not.
It does not. Yeah. So it gets dropped on her head. Vernon's like, oh, Dobby just disappears. And Vernon is like, it's my nephew. He's deranged. We kept him in his room so he wouldn't have to be around strangers and all this stuff. Yeah. So, he gets in trouble. They put bars on his windows. Yep. And so I guess Dobby thinks, all right, I did it.
Mission accomplished.
He's not going back to Hogwarts. Yep. But then, late at night, there's a sound in the air, and there's a flying car, and it is being flown by Fred and George, and of course, Ron is also there. And they're like, hop in, Harry, we're going to our home. And so they pull off the bars, the window, destroy
everything.
Well, I mean, maybe Uncle Vernon shouldn't have put bars on the windows.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is a two wrongs kind of deal.
So pulls the half of the window out. Harry gets into the car as Uncle Vernon comes in, because he's got so many locks on the door that it takes him forever to even unlock everything so he can get in there. Yeah. And then he just falls out the window because he tries to stop Harry.
He nearly dies.
And everybody's okay with it.
Well, the family's not. His wife's like, oh no!
Yeah, but I mean, the Weasleys are like, ah!
And Harry are like, let's go, baby!
So they just fly off and
That's going to be a tough house to return to next year.
You would think so. So they fly off to the Burrow, which is where the Weasleys live. And I don't
their
remember
weird
what
house.
it looked like in this one, but I feel like in other movies it gets even weirder.
It looks right. It kind of looks like if you played, what is it?
There's some kind of tower game.
That video game like Edith Finch.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. It's like, Where is Edith Finch or something? What Remains of Edith Finch?
Yes.
Yeah, I know, like her family builds this big, weird towery house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not there yet, but yeah, it's kind of got that look.
Yeah.
Or it looks like that castle that guy's trying to build in Denver that you can go look at that's like a complete safety hazard. You should look it up.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Don't know. All right. But basically, I guess it's kind of one of those, our family kept growing and we needed more room, so we just magically built onto it. So it's basically held on by magic.
Yep.
What it made me think of was another video game where it's like you drop like the pieces of, and you're trying to build the tower as high as you can.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes it'll be a piece that's like kind of wonky.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you're trying not to topple the tower.
Towers.
Tricky Towers. Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, so anyway, they get there, and there's like all kinds of magic stuff going on, and Harry's like, this is amazing!
Yeah, he loves it.
And then Mrs. Weasley shows up, and she's like, how dare you! And then she's like, Harry, it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's not your fault, Harry.
Exactly,
It's
nothing's
these little
Harry's
jerks
fault.
over here.
So yeah, she gets mad at everybody at the three boys for stealing the car and all this stuff, and Ron's like, but they were starving him, Mom. Oh,
poor guy.
Yeah.
And Ginny comes down, sees Harry, and
freaks out
loses
because
her mind.
yeah, she like blushes and just runs away because
Yeah.
she's got a big crush on Harry.
Eyes get real wide.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do
funny.
remember another thing that they took out of the movie at one point.
What's that?
There's I'll get to it later.
It's in the future. Okay.
No, it's not. I mean, it's in the book, but it's not in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would happen in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't know what you said. I thought you said it's in the feature. Because I was like,
you know, I call
I'm like,
movies
why are you
features.
calling it a feature?
You know.
Feature presentation.
You know, our feature presentation.
Okay. Anyway, so the owl shows up that has all of their books and stuff that they're going to need.
I don't remember their owl being so blind or whatever in the...
Oh, yeah,
book.
he was.
It was?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. So when he flew into that window, I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, Errol is always like the worst owl. Oh, and Mr. Weasley comes home, so you get to meet Mr. Weasley for the first time.
Yep, in his stupid little hat.
I love Mr. Weasley, though. Stupid hat.
He's
and
great.
everything.
Yeah, he's great. But
That
I
hat
hate
is
the
very
hats in
stupid.
this stupid movies.
Yeah.
They do not know how to make hats.
I feel like okay, so the first two movies were directed by Chris
Columbus.
Chris Columbus.
Yes.
Why did
Ferdinand
your children?
Magellan did the sequels.
Why did your parents name you Chris
I don't
Columbus?
know. I don't know.
Choose a different name. You
They
can't.
didn't
You
know.
can't do that. I mean, yeah, probably.
Hopefully.
Anyway, so Chris Columbus did the first two
Yeah.
movies, and then like after those two, because you see them like they're wearing their robes a lot and everything, and then kind of after that, the costuming and everything changes a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe the next few, once you know the directors and everything change, maybe you'll go, oh, this isn't quite as bad.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's less weird hats.
Right. I hope so.
I feel like it, but I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, the costuming in the first two movies is not good.
So, anyway, the Mr. Weasley is amazing. I love Mr. Weasley. But he's like obsessed with muggles. He loves muggles.
And amazing is a strong word. He annoys me a little.
I love him! I love Mrs. Weasley too, though, so.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
both great.
She's great.
So yeah, I just like the way, you know, she tells him, your children went off and stole the car and flew off to Surrey. And he's like, how was it? And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, I mean, that was a terrible thing for you to do. You shouldn't do that.
I just don't understand how dumb he is. Why is he so dumb about what muggles do? What is a rubber duck? What is wrong with you? How do you not know?
Well, it's not what is a rubber duck, but what is
What do
the
you use
function
for?
of a rubber duck? What is the function of a rubber duck?
For playtime, to keep you entertained in the bathtub when you're a little small child and you need something to stay put while your mom washed your hair. That's what it's for. But why doesn't he know that? Why doesn't he know any of this stuff?
Because he's a wizard and wizards just don't know about muggles.
He's in charge of muggle stuff.
He's in charge of the misuse of muggle stuff.
But he should know what they're used for to know when they're being misused.
Well, maybe no one has misused a rubber duck.
It drives me crazy.
Oh, well. Anyway, so they get all their lists of school books that they're going to need. And, of course, Miss Weasley, like, kind of winks at the camera. You know where we have to go now. Wink, wink. Gotta go to Diagon Alley. So, yeah. They decide to travel there by flue powder.
Yes.
So that's basically traveling through the chimney systems.
Yeah.
Harry has never done this before, so he's a newbie.
Yeah.
He's kind of freaked out when he sees it happen the first time. Cause it's like,
it's a pretty crazy thing.
It would freak you out if you saw somebody just burst into flames and disappear. So they're like, okay, just speak clearly. And of course, what does he do?
He can't even pull off talking.
He does not speak clearly.
Yeah.
Because all he has to say is Diagon Alley. Yeah. And he says diagonally.
Yeah. He's dumb.
So he ends up not in Diagon Alley, but in Nocturne Alley, which is right next to it.
Isn't it a lot more complicated in the books? Like, you have to, like, know when you see the place you're getting off.
Yeah, you
get
kind
off
of have to...
You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, kind of. You have to, like, make sure you get off at the right exit kind of thing. It's one of those, which they don't really go into in the movies.
Yeah, I think it was much more complicated. I understood why he was having so much trouble. In this one, he's just stupid. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, he ends up in Nocturne Alley. They don't really say where he is, but he's in Borgin and Burke's, which is like this place that sells a bunch of like dark art stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark arts kind of things. And in the book, singular, in the book, when he gets there, the Malfoys come in, so he has to hide. And he hides in a cabinet. Yeah. It's a vanishing cabinet, which comes in later. Yeah. But you don't know it. Right. Because it's like, oh, it's just the cabinet. And it's like later.
What a fun little cabinet that was.
Yeah, exactly. And then later in like one of the later books, it's like, oh my gosh, he was in that cabinet the whole time. So he's listening in and he sees like Draco asking about all these different things. I can't remember what else there. Remember. But I mean, at least I feel like that's what happens. Yeah. I know it happens in a later book too, that he sees him talking about stuff. Yeah. But
plus he was like he wanted an item or something. He was asking his dad for something. Yeah. His dad's like, nah, or something. Yeah. I don't remember.
I think he wanted the hand of glory.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the hand
one that grabbed him.
That he touches it and grabs him. And it's like, why are you just touching random...
He touches everything.
Stop it.
Who taps on a glass thing of heads?
It's like, these could be cursed items.
I'm not going to tap that. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I am not going to tap on the glass that holds heads.
But, yeah, sometimes he's real dumb.
Sometimes?
Okay, most of the time he's real dumb. Anyway, so he finally makes it out of there. Yes. And walks down the street. There are all these, like, random, scary, creepy people. And they're like, come with me, little boy.
What are they going to do with him?
I don't know.
Are they going to eat him?
I don't know.
I've got a candy house.
But he's like, I don't want to go anywhere with you. And then Hagrid's like, hurry, what are you doing down there? And he's like, oh, I just got off at the wrong exit. And he's like, all right. And he's like, but Hagrid, what are you doing down there? I was getting some... flesh-eating slug repellent. It's like, were you? Okay. But later, like in the movie, you do see he's got some slug repellent. Yeah. So, okay. I guess that is what he was doing. Because he was like, something's been getting into the cabbages. All right, cool. So they meet up with Hermione. Of course, when Harry fell, he broke his glasses. Mm-hmm. So she has to repair it. Yeah. Why has he not figured out this spell?
Because he's dumb.
Come on. It's not that hard.
It's not.
So she fixes his glasses and she's like, okay, they're waiting for us at the bookstore. So they get in the bookstore, they get in line, and that's when we see Lockhart for the first time. Lockhart is so funny to me.
He's a goof. I don't remember if he showed me some. Were there ever like any drawings of him in the book or anything?
Maybe.
I don't remember, but I always pictured him with long flowing hair for some reason.
I don't think
that's how I picture a beautiful man.
Okay.
Because like isn't he like described as like really pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all the girls love him.
Oh yeah, all the girls love him. All the guys hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the guys want to be him. All the girls want to be with him.
Yeah, I guess so. But I don't know if the guys want to be him. They don't seem to want to be him. But Mrs. Weasley has a crush on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ron's like, my mom fancies him.
Yeah.
And she's like, Ron, stop.
I mean, you're not wrong, but stop.
He shows up though, and he's like taking pictures. There's a photographer for like the Daily. What is it called?
Bugle.
I wanted to say Bugle, and I was like, no, the Daily Planet. And I'm like, that's not it either. What is it?
Gabbler.
No.
Shobbler.
No, you're thinking of the Quibbler, and that's not it. No, it's the
Daily Goose.
The Daily Prophet. That's it.
Glad I got you there with Goose.
But yeah, they're taking pictures for the Daily Prophet, and he sees Harry in the distance. He recognizes. He sees his scar, and he's like, Harry Potter, and he like pulls him up there. Mm-hmm. And gets a picture. He's like, this will be front page news. Yeah. He's all about the publicity.
That's all right.
He gets his pictures and everything, and he's like, and I'm giving him a full stack of all of my books, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like he gets a copy of all of my books, which, comes in handy considering that he has to have all of them for class. Yeah. I do not know how the Weasleys are supposed to pay for all of those books.
Seriously, man. They just, I don't know.
They're going to go into debt.
Yeah.
Now, in the book, Harry does, he gives his copies to Ginny, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were free, and he was like, I'll buy my own,
But why would he give them to Ginny? Does she have to take his class?
Yes, everybody has to take his class.
Okay.
So that's...
I guess that makes sense.
So that's Ginny, Ron, Fred, George, and Percy all have to have all of his books. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
It is.
Fred and George could probably just share.
Oh, because they're twins. They don't need their own books.
Well, I mean, they can share because they're in the same actual classroom together at the same time. So they can just kind of look on. And I mean, are they actually going to use them? It's Fred and George, so no. Just buy one each because they're not going to use them anyway.
That's fair.
Just don't buy one for Ron either because he's not going to.
Sucks.
He's not going to read them.
He'll use Harry's.
Exactly. Or Hermione's.
Hermione will just tell him what's happening.
Hermione will have little hearts all in hers. Mrs. Hermione Lockhart. So yeah, get to meet Lockhart. And then of course we also see Malfoy is there. Mm-hmm. And he's pissed off because Harry is getting all this attention.
As he should be.
Yeah. And so he ends up, he's walking down the stairs. He tears a page out of a book and I'm like...
Yeah, he's just being a jerk.
Malfoy. I didn't like you before and now I really don't like you.
Yeah, Malfoy sucks.
Malfoy. Yeah, he sucks. And he comes downstairs. He's like...
Alone in pairs. Slinky. Gotcha.
Oh. I don't even know what I was saying.
He comes downstairs. His dad shows up.
Yeah.
He's like, what up? I got the long hair.
I'm Lucius Malfoy.
I'm Luscious Lucius.
Luscious Lucius. Exactly. Can you imagine if somebody read it as Luscious Malfoy the whole time? They just didn't know it was Lucius. And they're like, and then his father, Lucius... not Lucius. Luscious Malfoy. Luscious with his luscious locks.
You know what character I don't like? Luscious Malfoy. What?
That's Luscious Malfoy is my favorite character. He's so great. He's so fun.
So
it's
luscious.
Excuse me? Luscious? So yeah, he shows up. He's a jerk, just you see where Malfoy gets it from.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets into a little tiff with Mr. Weasley.
Yep.
And he's making fun of how poor they are. He grabs the tattered old book that Ginny has.
Yep.
He pulls it out of her cauldron and is kind of laughing at it and everything.
A little hand me down.
Mm-hmm. So they he's making fun of him and everything. And then he puts the book back.
Or does he?
He does put the book back. They're
But he
actually...
also puts something else in
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, we might as well spoil it. There's another book.
there. There's another book. What's another book?
There are 2 books when he puts them back.
That's right.
So, I guess they just leave after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then I think it kind of just
Then they go to the
shows up.
train station.
Yeah, at the train station. It's like the next scene.
Yeah.
They're at the train station. They're getting ready to go through. And everybody goes through except for Ron and Harry. They're the last ones. And they can't get through the barrier.
Nope.
So they freak out because Ron is like, well, what if we can't get through? What if Mom and Dad can't get back? So they're like, well, we'll just take the flying car and we'll take it to Hogwarts. So that's what they do.
Yep.
They take the flying car. It turns invisible. Thank goodness, because... And some people, of course, do see it, but...
Yeah. And they get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Which is total bullcrap, because they're running through the wall in front of everyone.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, they're supposed to look around and make sure nobody's watching, but...
They never do.
No, and... I mean, there are people on trains in that train station that could be looking out the window and you don't know it.
Not.
Yeah, exactly.
Wizards are dumb.
Yeah.
They're hypocrites.
So, anyway, they take the flying car. They almost get hit by the train, actually. Harry falls half out of the car. It's very annoying.
Yeah,
I don't really like the sequence that much. And then they run into the Whomping Willow once they get to the school. And the Whomping Willow, I absolutely hate the way the Whomping Willow looks.
It was weird. It doesn't even look like a willow.
No, it doesn't.
It just looks like a big, weird, burly tree.
You can cut this out if you want, but why is everything on it so phallic?
Well, like I said, all the plants are phallus. It's real weird. Somebody had a real plant fetish in this movie.
I hate the way it looks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they do manage to get away. The car just like throws them out. Ron breaks his wand at one point.
Yeah.
The car throws them out, throws all their stuff out, and then goes off into the Forbidden Forest. And so they go back, they go inside. They get to the top of the stairs. They're trying to get into the Great Hall for the feast and everything. Mm-hmm. And Filch is there. And he does one of my favorite lines. And I always forget where it is in the movies. But it's at this point. He goes, "Oh dear, we are in trouble." I don't know why I like it so much, but it always makes me laugh.
It's a good line.
So, they get in trouble. Snape is like, "You're going to be expelled." And then Dumbledore's like, "No, they're not."
Of course they're not.
He's like, "No, bro. They're not going to be expelled."
Were you even around first year, bro?
Exactly. So it's like, they're fine. They just want to do it again. Right, boys? And they're like, "Yeah, sure, we want to do it again." So then it goes to like the next day or several days, whenever it is. Yeah. They're out at the greenhouse.
Well, don't they eat first or no? Maybe not.
In the books, they don't get to eat. They have to skip the whole feast.
I just couldn't remember when he got that howler.
Oh, I think it's the next morning.
Yeah. Maybe. His owl comes flying in.
Yeah, it's definitely not that night. It's the next morning, I think. Okay. So, they do get detention.
Yeah, they do.
So, the next morning, sure, we'll go with that. The next morning,
why not?
He gets a howler. Ron gets a howler from his mom, and she's like, "How dare you, Ron Weasley? Your father's facing an inquiry at work." Blah, 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 and all this stuff. And then at the very end, it's like, "Congratulations, Jenny, on being sorted into Gryffindor."
Yeah.
And Jenny's just like, "Oh my god, this is so embarrassing."
The best part was that owl flying in and taking a tumble and just lying there. Dead.
Oh, yeah. It just, it tumbled into, some potato chips, it looked like.
Yep.
And it just laid there with, I think it had, the howler in its beak or something. Yeah. And somebody takes it and it's still just laying there.
I kind of like that owl a lot.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
It's pretty cute. They go to their herbology class and they have to repot mandrakes.
Right.
So we get to see what mandrakes look like. Mm-hmm. They're real gross. They're little babies. Yeah. And mandrakes in real life do look like that. I mean, they don't scream, but they do look like little babies, kind of, which I think is why they're called mandrakes.
That's why the legend was made, probably.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Because I've seen pictures of them and it's like, oh gosh, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Kill it.
Please. Get it away from me. But, so they repot the mandrakes.
You have to wear
earmuffs.
Earmuffs, but, that's not canceling any noise.
No. They need to be wearing, Bose noise-canceling headphones or
those,
something.
airport headphone things. Those noise-canceling.
Yeah. Because, earmuffs... I guess it's you just have to muffle them enough. And honestly, the earmuffs, they may be enchanted. It may not be regular. Could be. Because there is a charm called Muffliato. So maybe they're all charmed with that.
Maybe.
So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so they have to repot the mandrakes. So we know that there are mandrakes, and we find out that what they do. They can cure people who have been petrified. Yep. Wow, convenient. There's so many convenient things on here.
This movie should have just been called The Chamber of Plot Convenience.
Yeah. Because there's so much. It's so much.
By the way, that car that they drove in that wrecked into a tree, it just drove off into the forest after it was done.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Why did it do that? I
don't know. It just did.
Yeah.
Just wanted to.
Because
it's got to show up later.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, hey, I know my place in this story.
Yes.
So then they have their first lesson with Lockhart, and he comes into the room, and he's got like this big painting of himself painting himself.
That's pretty good. I would get that if I could.
Yeah, you would.
I already have a big picture of myself with another picture of myself. So
yeah, it does.
mean, it's pretty me.
Oh no. Oh no.
You're dating Lockhart. Yeah, I am pretty too.
Oh boy. So anyway, he brings in some Cornish pixies and he just sets them loose.
Kind of hypes them up like they're this really dangerous thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, it's Cornish pixies.
Yeah, because he's like, freshly caught Cornish pixies. And Seamus Finnegan's like, Cornish pixies? Like, those aren't anything. Come on. So yeah, he hypes them up and everything. And then he's like, all right, how do you think, I forget what he says, but he's like, what do you think of them now? Or something. Yeah. And he opens it and they just fly out and they're going crazy.
Causing all kinds of havoc.
Yeah. They're like pulling people's hair. They grab Neville by his ears and pull him up.
Yeah,
and,
rough
like,
go for Neville. That hurt. That's kind of
yeah,
bad.
I love at the end, though, where he's like, why does it always have to be me? Poor Neville.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, runs out, basically, except for Neville, who's stuck, like, to the chandelier.
Yeah.
And Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And Lockhart's like, well, I guess I'll just let you guys take care of this. And he just leaves.
Clean it up.
He just leaves. So, luckily, Hermione is smart and is like, she does, like, a Mobilius charm or whatever to stop them from moving, and then they can get rid of him. Yeah. But it's like, dude, what's wrong with you? He's so bad.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Since Harry is still on the Quidditch team, they have to have their Quidditch practice.
Oh, yeah. Quidditch.
And they walk out, and they're getting ready to go to the practice field. And the Slytherins are there too. And they're like, we have special permission from Snape because we have to train our new Seeker. And they're like, new Seeker. And then here comes Malfoy, the new Seeker.
Yeah.
And so he's basically bought his way onto the team by getting them all Nimbus 2001s, which are the new version of the Nimbus 2000, which is the broom that Harry has. Yeah. That he got in the first book, movie / whatever. So they kind of get into a little fight, and Malfoy calls Hermione a mudblood, and Ron gets pissed off. Yep. And he tries to curse Malfoy, but it backfires because his wand is broken. Yeah. He's like, eat slugs, and then he starts barfing up slugs, basically.
Yeah, pretty gross.
So they take him to Hagrid, and Hagrid's like, only thing you can do is just wait it out. And just gives him a bucket. Man, him having to do that with the slugs, he looks so sick, too.
He does. He looks pale. He's so bad.
He's like greenish looking because he just looks real sick. And he's real good at like the barfing up slugs part. Yeah. So, good job. But then Hagrid asks what happened, and they tell him. And Harry doesn't know what a mudblood is. And basically it means dirty blood. It's somebody who doesn't have magical, is not like magically pure or whatever, not a pure blood. Right. Yeah, it's a pretty bad insult. And I love that Hagrid's like, oh, no, he didn't.
Not that.
No, not that. But Hagrid's like, well, we all know that you're a great witch, so don't let what he says, what that little jerk says, get to you, Hermione. And she's like, okay. Yeah. So then Harry has to have detention with Lockhart. Yeah. I don't know why that's the detention he got. It's
a weird one.
But yeah, he has detention with Lockhart. He has to help him answer fan mail. Yeah. And so he's just sitting there he's just sitting there with pictures of himself, just, autographing them and everything. Yeah. And
they do that for 4 hours.
For 4 hours. And Harry starts hearing this really weird voice and is talking about like killing people or whatever. And he's like, okay, that's weird. And Lockhart obviously doesn't hear it because I think he said something, and Lockhart's like, oh, wow, I guess we've been here for a while. You're starting to get delusional, you know? It's been 4 hours.
Yep.
So he lets him leave, and Ron and Hermione, they find him in the hallway.
Yeah.
Because he's been kind of like following this
He's
voice.
just chasing voices.
And they're like, okay, bro, that's weird. So then they like turn the corner, and there is Mrs. Norris.
No.
She's petrified.
The kitty cat.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a message on the wall that Hermione says, it's in blood. It's like, Hermione, how do you know?
Yeah,
just because it's like red.
Reddish.
I mean, it is in blood, but
yeah.
How do you know that automatically? But it says the
Whose
chamber...
blood is it in?
It's rooster blood.
Okay.
It says, the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air beware. But basically...
Where did that person get rooster blood?
Hagrid's cabin, he has roosters.
Okay.
Because in a later scene when Harry is in Dumbledore's office, Hagrid comes in and he's got a dead rooster.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because he keeps getting like, the roosters just keep dying. So he keeps like getting new ones and they keep dying again. It's like, okay, what's killing the roosters?
Yeah.
Yeah, the roosters are being killed and the spiders are running away.
Yeah.
Because they see like a long trail of spiders running out.
Why are there so many spiders in this place?
I don't know. It's an old castle. What do you expect? But yeah, that's a lot of spiders. I mean, I saw one spider in my shower today and I was like, I gotta burn this whole place down now. No, I just killed it. It's fine. The Chamber of Secrets apparently has been opened.
Yep.
And they're like, what's the Chamber of Secrets?
Yep.
Oh, and also Filch comes out and he sees Mrs. Norris and he's like, you killed my cat.
Everyone's there.
Yeah.
Everyone's coming from dinner.
And I love that, like, Snape is like, well, maybe they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And
but
you're like,
it does look suspicious.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, Snape is a good guy? And he's like, but it does look suspicious. It's like, oh, there he is. Okay. Okay.
But Lockhart can vouch for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he was in my office helping with my fan mail for detention. Mm-hmm. And then Hermione's like, yeah, and then we met him and he was... And then he said, and they're like, what did he say? That I wasn't hungry, so we were going to go back to that. It's like, okay.
What a lie.
So in class, they ask Professor McGonagall, in class they're supposed to be transfiguring animals into water goblets. And
when would that come in handy?
I don't know. I don't know
when in the world would you do this?
There are so many lessons in transfiguration in the books that you're like, but why?
Seriously, it's so weird. And it seems cruel to these animals.
Turn this hedgehog into a pincushion or something. It's like, but
no,
I don't understand.
This poor hedgehog.
So she gets Ron to change to do it, and he changes Scabbers into a goblet, but it's like all furry and it still has a tail.
Yeah,
and she's like, "You need to get a new wand. That wand sucks." Which
this scene begs a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Brings up a lot of questions that we will ask later.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here. And I'm like, wait a second. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty messed up that a rat is like half of a glass.
Yeah.
It's really
and it's still like
insane.
squeaking too.
Yeah. Like, it wants to die. It's like, kill me.
Oh my gosh.
It's wizards are so messed up, dude.
Right.
It's such a weird world.
Oh man. So anyway, Hermione's like, actually, can you just tell us about the Chamber of Secrets? Because we want to know what it is. And does it exist?
I don't want to change animals into cups.
So, of course, McGonagall's like, well, 1,000 years ago, the 4 best wizards in England decided to make a school together. And so they built the school and they each divided the students into different houses named for each one of them. So you have Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin.
They are all alliterative.
I don't know.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. There are a lot of alliterative names, like wizard names.
Yeah.
Minerva McGonagall.
Yeah. And done.
Severus Snape.
Yeah. Peter Pettigrew.
Whoever
that is.
Quirinus Quirrell. I think that's his name, something like that.
It's just a real stretch on that name.
Yeah. Gosh, there are a bunch of other ones that I just can't
Ron
think of.
Weasley.
No.
Hermione Granger.
Stop.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. This is my favourite book, Harry Potter.
I'd be all in on it. That's a good name.
Oh. I was trying. Phileas Flitwick. That's another one.
Okay.
There are several of them.
Gotcha.
You jerk. So anyway, she says that they got into like a big fight and Salazar Slytherin decided he was going to leave.
Yeah,
but
he's peacing out.
Yeah, but before he left, he had created a chamber of secrets, and inside of that was a monster. But nobody knows what the monster is.
Yeah.
And they say the monster is still there to this day.
Yes.
No, I don't know.
He seals it up.
Yep, sealed it up. And only the heir of Slytherin would be able to open it.
Right.
They're like, okay, well, who is the heir of Slytherin? So they're like, well, obviously it has to be Malfoy. And his dad gave him the secret.
Yeah.
And now he can open the chamber and all this stuff. And they're like, well, how are you going to,
Because it had been opened once before.
Yes, it had been opened.
Well, obviously his dad opened it first.
Yeah, it had been opened in the past. And so they're like, well, obviously it was the dad. And then he gave the secret to Malfoy.
Yeah.
To Draco. So they're like, how are we gonna figure this out? How are we gonna like make sure that this is correct, So they're like, well, obviously we'll just make some Polyjuice potion and we'll turn into some Slytherins and we'll get them to confess.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Crab and Goyle.
So they're like, all right, well, how long is it gonna take to make this Polyjuice potion? A month. Okay, cool.
Great.
So they have to wait a month for all of that to do. And meanwhile, there's the first Quidditch game. And during the... It's Gryffindor versus Slytherin. You pointed out that at one point Harry is just chasing another player.
He's chasing a bludger for what reason?
Was he chasing a bludger?
No.
He's chasing another player.
A guy, whoever carries the ball.
Yeah, he was chasing
What are those called?
one of their chasers. I think that's what they're called, the chasers.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
What is he?
He's a seeker.
Seeker.
There are chasers, seeker. There's one seeker, which is him. The chasers are the ones who take the ball to the other side.
Okay.
There's a keeper who stops them
them
from going through the goals, and then there are beaters who do the bludgers.
Okay. Yeah, so it was a chase. But yeah, he's chasing like, stop. Go find the snitch.
Find the snitch.
What are you doing?
You're not supposed to be doing
this game.
So
the snitch always has to show itself right in front of their faces.
I was gonna say, but then of course Draco's just as bad because he's standing there like mocking Harry, and Harry's like, "It's right next to you.
Yeah.
Do you not even see it?"
But the snitch is obviously playing favorites again because he's not getting in Draco's eye line. He's staying behind Draco and saying like, "Harry, I'm over here, Harry. Hey, come get me. Remember, you're supposed to do your job."
He's going after the snitch, and he and Draco are both going after the snitch. But there's a rogue bludger that has decided to go after Harry.
A heat-seeking bludger.
Yeah, so it's only trying to hit Harry.
Yeah.
So he's still going after the snitch, and at one point Draco gets knocked out of the competition, and his dad, of course, is sitting there in the stands, and he's like, "Oh, this is no son of mine." You just see the disappointment in his face. But then Harry goes for the snitch, is about to reach it when the bludger comes out of nowhere and hits his arm, and breaks his arm.
Yeah.
He does end up catching it with the other hand.
He does.
And then the bludger is still trying to hit him.
Yeah.
While he's just like down on the ground. Is trying to hit him.
Just slamming against the ground.
And luckily Hermione is like
the only person that knows how to do anything
in the whole stadium.
Yes.
And it like hits it with a spell which makes it explode, even though it is not a spell that's supposed to make it explode. The spell that she does is Finite Incantatem, which is supposed to just stop whatever enchantment it has on it.
Yeah.
Not make it explode.
Yeah. Did it explode in the book, or did it just stop?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Because they cast a few spells in this that don't do what they're supposed to do.
Oh, there are this was the worst for spells doing not what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, not good at keeping that canon up.
No, because in this movie, basically any time that you do a spell, you're just knocking somebody back.
It just explodes. Yeah,
Or knocking somebody into the air.
It's a concussive blast every time.
It's like, that's not what it's supposed to do. Okay.
Which they could have had a lot more fun with those spells.
So, anyway, he's down on the ground. The bludger has finally stopped. And he's got a broken arm.
But don't worry.
Don't worry, Lockhart's here. Lockhart shows up. He's like, oh, I can fix this. And he's like, no, I don't want you to. Just take me to Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah, he straight up tells him, I do not want you to touch my arm. He's like, no, it's no problem. I'll have it fixed in a jiffy. He should sue Lockhart.
Right. And so he does some stupid little spell. And what does it do? Oh, well, sure. His arm's not hurting anymore.
He does not have a broken bone anymore.
Because he does not have a bone. The bone, it removes the bone. And so his arm is just like rubbery. It's just, it's so gross.
Pretty gross to watch, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like flapping everywhere.
They keep like, moving it.
You gotta stop. You're gonna make me sick. At one point, I feel like they take it and they like bend it all the way back and it just flops back over.
So.
No, stop.
It's weird.
So yeah, he has no bone.
No bone.
So they take him up to the infirmary.
Yeah.
I love that Draco is there and he's just like, oh, I hurt so bad. And Madame Pomfrey's like, you can go. You're fine.
Shut up.
So she's like, all right, we're going to have to like grow your bone back. So she gives him something called Skelligro.
Which, to be fair to Draco, he shouldn't be fine. He was going pretty fast, and he went head first into the ground. Like, dude should be dead. So, I don't know.
She just gave him some pepper up potion, and he was fine.
You're good. Here's some heroin. You're fine. I'll pick you up.
So, she gives him some Skelligro so that he can grow back his arm bone.
Yeah.
And at first he like spits it out because he's like, oh, this is terrible. She's like, what do you expect? It's medicine, you idiot. So she makes him take it again. And so he has to stay all night in the infirmary. So while his bone regrows, because it should grow overnight. While he's there, he hears the sound again. He hears the voice again.
Yeah.
And he's like, what in the world is this? And then he looks in front of him and there's Dobby sitting there on his bed.
Yeah.
And you find out that Dobby is the reason that he couldn't get through the platform at the train station. He had blocked it. And also he sent the rogue bludger after him so that it would hurt him so that he would go home.
Really responsible there, Dobby. That thing was going to murder him.
Killed someone, exactly. Yeah. Good job. So yeah, he just keeps saying, Harry Potter should not be at Hogwarts. And he's like, yeah, but I need to be here. I don't want to go home.
Too bad.
And he's like, it's going to be terrible. You've got to go. And then, of course, they hear somebody coming. Dobby disappears again. And they bring in Colin Creevy, who has been petrified.
Yeah, so this is a kid who's obsessed with Harry.
Yeah.
Takes pictures of stuff.
Yeah, he's a Muggle-born, and he is obsessed. He loves photography, and he's obsessed with Harry Potter. He's like part of the Harry Potter fan club, basically, with Jenny.
He is the Harry Potter. Oh, it's just them.
It's just the two of them. I don't think there actually is a fan club. I think it was just a joke someone made. But yeah. So yeah, he's a really big Harry Potter fan, and he has been petrified. Mm-hmm. And they open up his camera because they're like, well, maybe he caught a picture of whatever it was that did it, and the film in his camera just like explodes.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is bad. So now that another student has been petrified, they're like, all right, we got to step up our game. We got to figure out who is doing this.
Yep.
So they go, Hermione is working on the Polyjuice potion in the girls' bathroom. And she's like, it's going to take a while, So they're like, why are we doing this in the middle of the girls' bathroom in the broad daylight? And she's like, it's okay. Nobody comes in here because of Moaning Myrtle.
Yeah.
And so Moaning Myrtle shows
fair.
up. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go in there either.
Oh my God. Can you imagine you're trying to do your business and
you're like, you just sit down there to pee, and she's like, oh, someone killed me in the bathroom. It's like, jeez.
Oh, Myrtle.
I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to cry in the U-bend. It's like,
she's the worst.
Stop.
She looks like Harry Potter with a wig.
She does. She looks like a female Harry Potter because she's got the same glasses and everything. Mm-hmm. She's played by like a 30, 40-year-old woman, something like that.
Yeah.
It's real weird. So she comes out and she apparently died in the bathroom and she's just been haunting it ever since. And so nobody wants to use the bathroom.
Her and Elvis dying in bathroom.
Oh, gosh. So they're like, okay, well, I guess we don't have to worry about anybody coming in here because this girl's annoying. So, and let's see, next it like jumps around so much. It feels
Doesn't this one, there's No, it's later. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens in that bathroom. Yeah. You don't want to know.
So much stuff happening in the bathroom.
There's a dueling club that Lockhart decides to start.
Yeah.
And so he's going to teach all the kids how to duel.
Right.
And he gets Snape to help him out as his, like, assistant.
Yeah.
And Snape is like, I hate this guy. And honestly, I'm with Snape on this one.
Love Lockhart for the wrong reasons. He's an idiot.
He's such an idiot. So they have their dueling club meeting, and the two of them duel first.
Yes.
And of course, this is the most annoying thing because, okay, well, first of all, Harry Potter is known for the Expelliarmus spell.
Okay.
That's like one of his...
I like that you did the whole spell before you said spell.
I couldn't think of the word.
I gotta do it in my mind, and then spell.
Spell is in the name of it. So it's funny that becomes like one of his signature moves, pretty much. Because like anytime that he's fighting somebody, he uses Expelliarmus. And all of the bad guys know this. He learned it from Snape, which is kind of funny. It's like this, he hates Snape so much, but that's where he got his signature move.
Best trick.
It's kind of funny. They're getting ready to duel, and Snape goes, Expelliarmus.
Yeah, it's so long. Oh my god, wizards are so frustrating.
And he, like, knocks Lockhart away. It's supposed to just, like, knock your wand out of your hand, basically.
Yeah.
But it, like, every time they do it, it just knocks
blast,
you all the way back.
But then
Lockhart, I love Lockhart gets up and he's like, I could have used a counter her. All this stuff, and it's like, yeah, you should have, because you could clearly see what he was doing, because he's like, Expelliarmus. It takes so long.
This scene just made me like, it's good that the wizards keep themselves away from everyone, because any other weapon is going to just take out wizards so easily. Like a sword, you could just go through wizards like crazy, because they gotta go,
okay, they don't
it takes
have
forever. Well, but still, like,
that is just a Snape thing. Yeah. That is just an Alan Rickman thing.
It takes forever, and it's just so silly.
So yeah, I've had to have an argument with someone before about wizards and guns. Yeah. Why don't they just use guns?
Yeah.
It's like, because guns aren't magic.
I mean,
end of story.
You can get a magic gun.
Yeah, but there aren't any magic guns. If there were magic guns...
There are magic wands!
In this story, there are.
Yes, in this.
But in this, there are not magic guns. Come on.
Yet. Maybe if they would, innovate, they could have magic guns.
These are wizards. They do not innovate.
They do not. They are stuck in their ruts.
Yes. So anyway, they have their little duel, and then they say, well, maybe we should get some of the students up here. So they get Harry, and Lockhart is going to get Ron to go up there, and then Snape's like,
his wand's broke.
His wand's broken. If you get him up here, Harry Potter's going to be in the hospital before, in like 2 seconds. So they're like, maybe Malfoy.
Of course.
So, and I love the way he, like, as he's walking toward, he sees, like, Malfoy, and he, like, points at him and, like, get up here.
Yeah, that was
so funny.
So great. Alan Rickman's so ridiculous.
I love him. And, of course, this was the point where I was like, nobody actually likes the character of Snape.
Yeah.
We like Alan Rickman as Snape.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm sorry, if somebody actually likes the character of Snape, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I knew Alan Rickman before we read it, I don't know how it would have felt.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly. So, yeah, Alan Rickman is the only thing that I can see anybody liking about Snape, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Harry and Malfoy have their little duel, and they just keep, like, knocking each other back, basically.
Yeah, same thing. Everything. Even though they're doing different spells.
They're doing different spells, but they're just doing that. Because, like, one of the spells that Harry uses on Malfoy is supposed to make him, like, laugh uncontrollably. Yeah. It does not.
Right.
Just knocks him on his butt.
Yeah.
And then Malfoy, like, does Serpensortia, which actually does something.
Yeah,
it, like,
makes
shoots a snake out of his wand, and it lands in the middle of the table, and it starts, like, oh, it's fine. Until Lockhart's like, oh, I've got it. I'll take care of it. And he hits it with a spell, which like makes it fly into the air and gets it angry.
Yeah.
So when it hits the ground again, it's like, I am pissed. Ah.
Yeah.
So Harry starts walking toward it and he's talking to it.
Yeah, because the snake's about to go after some kid.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Justin Finch Fletchley.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going toward him, and Harry's like, bro, step off. He's like, bro, step off, but it comes off as and everybody's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is going on? Because when he finally, like, Snape kills the snake, and everybody's like, okay, this is weird, and we want to go home.
Yeah.
So they get back to the common room, and Ron and Hermione are like, why didn't you tell us you were a parcel mouth?
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? What's that? He's like, you can talk to snakes.
He's like, yeah, a lot of people can do it properly.
It's like, surely a lot of people here can do that. They're like, no, that's like a dark wizard thing.
Yeah.
You weirdo. And he's like, well, you're making it sound like I'm the heir of Slytherin or something. And they're like, I mean, you could be. We don't know.
Yeah.
He lived a long time ago. And Harry's like, but it wasn't me. I didn't open anything. Stop. So, like, all of the Hufflepuffs hate Harry at this point because Justin Finch Fletchley is a Hufflepuff, and they think that Harry is, like, got it out for him.
Yeah.
And, of course, he's also a Muggle-born, so that makes it even worse. Mm-hmm. So, Harry, he's walking down the corridor.
Yep.
Runs into two dead bodies. Well, not dead bodies.
Yeah.
But two petrified bodies.
Yeah.
One of them is nearly Headless Nick.
The ghost.
The ghost of Gryffindor House. And the other one is Justin Finch Fletchley.
Yep.
It's like, dang it.
He's frozen on the ground.
Yep. I did forget to mention that one of the few scenes that is in the book that is not in the movie is Harry is invited to, I think instead of detention with Lockhart, he's supposed, in the book, he is at the Death Day party.
Oh, yeah.
Because Nearly Headless Nick has his Death Day party that day on Halloween, because that was when he died, I guess. And so Harry misses the Halloween feast so that he can go to the Death Day party, and he gets there and it's like, all they have is like maggoty cheese and like fish bones and stuff, and he's like, I can't eat any of this. Which is kind of funny when he does meet up with Ron and Hermione, and he has to pretend that he's not hungry because he's like, I'm starving, I haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Death Day party is not there, which is kind of a shame because it would have been more ghosts and everything.
Yep.
And the headless, it was like the headless hunting party or something like that.
Oh,
where it's like all of the headless ghosts show up, and Nearly Headless Nick just wants to join them so badly, but he can't because he's not fully headless. And so they don't let him join.
Yeah. It's a rough go for him.
Yeah. But anyway, so you don't get that in the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Because it would have been more John Cleese also.
Yep.
But those
we didn't even get John Cleese in this part because they just show from like his waist feet down.
Yeah, basically.
Like, Cleese wasn't available for this.
I mean, you do see him during a couple of parts where he talks.
Yeah,
but not that one.
But not that scene.
No. So they're both petrified. And then since Harry, of course, was the one who found them, he's kind of, McGonagall sees, and she's like, okay, you need to go see Dumbledore.
Yeah.
So she takes him to Dumbledore's office. Mm-hmm. And he goes up there, and he sees Dumbledore's not in there, like, at the second, like, right when he gets there. And he sees the Sorting Hat. And he's like, are you sure that you meant to put me, that I should be in Gryffindor and not Slytherin? And he's like, yes.
Well, he said, I told you should have been in Slytherin.
Yeah, he's like,
you would have done well there.
He's like, I stand by what I said. Yeah. You would have done well in Slytherin, but you also have Gryffindor qualities. And so he's like, all right. So then he sees this cage, and there's a bird in it. And he's like, oh, this is a cool bird. And he's just looking at it, and suddenly it bursts into flames. And he's like,
Ash.
Oh my god. And then, of course, Dumbledore comes down the stairs, and he's like, I swear I didn't touch it. He's like, I didn't do anything. I was just looking at it. It burst into flames. I don't know what happened. And then Dumbledore's like, oh, it's a shame you saw him on a burning day, because that is Fawkes, his phoenix.
Yep.
And then, of course, out of the ashes, a little baby bird shows up.
Phoenix.
It's very cute.
It's a cute phoenix.
So, they're talking, and he's like, I swear I did not petrify these people.
I did not.
Oh, hi, Hagrid. So, because Hagrid walks in.
That's great.
And Hagrid's got like this rooster, dead rooster.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say anything about it, but he's holding it. And he's like, Harry didn't do it. Dumbledore's like, yeah, I didn't think he did.
Does everybody keep yelling at me about this stuff? I know what's going on.
He's like, okay, I get it.
Dumbledore.
I didn't think that he was the one killing people, or not petrifying people.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just basically it. And he's like, is there anything that you want to tell me, Harry? And he's like, no, sir, nothing. He's like, okay.
Had he gotten the book yet?
No.
Well, then was he afraid to tell him?
That he's hearing voices.
Okay. Yeah. And he really should have. Why does he not tell him?
He doesn't tell him because Hermione told him, even in the wizarding world, hearing voices is
so what?
Bad. It's Harry. Harry doesn't
it's
tell
so
him.
frustrating.
Yeah, I know. It's Harry. He doesn't want to tell him anything. That's just the way it is.
Yes.
Because if he told him, then he'd be like, oh, well, maybe it's this.
Yeah.
And then he would solve the mystery.
That would be great. Just
and then there wouldn't be the rest of the thing.
Yes.
The story.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
So, at this point, it is Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the kids have already gone home. Everything's decked out for Christmas. It was very pretty.
It was nice.
I figured you would enjoy that.
I did.
And the Polyjuice potion is ready. And Hermione's like, all right, you've got to get something. You've got to get some kind of DNA. Like, usually they just used hair for the Polyjuice potion so that you can change. Don't even.
So they have to get some DNA for the Polyjuice.
I mean, it doesn't say it specifically has to be hair. People use toenails and fingernails and stuff, too.
That's true.
I'm sure there's other things you can use. We just won't talk about it.
So they got to get it for Crab and Goyle.
So they've got to get, some hair from Crab and Goyle so that they can put it into the Polyjuice potion.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what about you? What are you going to do? And she's like, oh, I already have mine. I got it from Millicent Bulstrode, who's another Slytherin.
Took it off her.
Yeah, off of her robes.
Robes.
So she's like, I've already got mine.
I'm good. I'm Hermione.
I'm Hermione. And she's like, oh, and by the way, I've made these cupcakes that have a sleeping draft in them so that when they eat them, they'll fall asleep and you can steal their robes and stuff.
Yeah.
So they go out into the hall and they just float the cupcakes in the air.
Stupid.
And Crab and Goyle come in walk down the hall and see them, and they're like, hey, free floating cupcakes.
Let's eat these.
Let's eat them.
No questions asked.
And so they do. And I'm like, you two are the dumbest idiots I think I've ever seen. What is wrong with you? So they eat the cupcakes and they immediately fall asleep.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man. So they grab their hair. They stuff them in a closet in the book.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really show what they do here. And then they go to the bathroom so that they can take their Polyjuice potion.
Yeah.
So they put the hairs in and everything.
Yeah.
And take it.
Gross.
And it's real gross. They don't like it. It tastes nasty.
I puke.
They immediately have to go into the bathroom and just vomit.
Yeah.
Except for Harry. He's like, I'll take it like a man, whatever.
I guess.
And he's like, it's gross.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm fine. And so he
Scaligro.
yeah.
Fine.
So he turns into Goyle.
Yeah.
And then out comes Ron and
he keeps his glasses on like an idiot.
Yeah. Out comes Ron, he's Crab. And they still have their own
I'm Crab.
voices.
A dog. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm a pig.
Here come Ronnie Crab.
Hey, Crab. Here come Ron out the bathroom. He Crab. That was not the way I said it. He's Crab.
He's Crab.
He Crab.
This is for our toddler section where we talk to toddlers about Harry Potter.
Oh no.
Okay, here come Ronnie Crab.
So Ron comes out of the bathroom stall and he's
Crab.
He's Crab. And they still have their normal voices. So he's like, you'll have to talk a little bit deeper. So he's like, bloody hell. So Hermione's like, you guys go on without me. I'm not gonna go. So, have fun. And they're like, what in the world's wrong with her? Okay, well, we'll go. So they head out. Percy finds them and he's like, what are you doing? And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm a prefect. So what are you doing out in the corridors? But then Malfoy shows up and basically he just tells Percy, get out of here or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Goyle, who is still wearing Harry's glasses, and he's like, why are you wearing glasses?
Yeah.
And Goyle's like, oh, I was reading. He's like, I didn't know you could read. Which to me is like one of the funniest lines.
It's a good joke.
I didn't know you could read.
We delivered it very well.
Yeah. So, they go into the Slytherin common room. You find out that apparently, Draco is just, like, stealing people's Christmas presents.
Yeah, he's a Grinch.
Yeah, because he's like, is this yours? And they're like, no. So he just, like, sticks it in his pocket. Yep. So, a nice little kleptomaniac, I guess. And so they're talking about the chamber, and Malfoy doesn't know who it is that's opened it. But then he's like, well, last time that it was opened, a mudblood got killed. And this time, I hope it's Granger. And they're like, Ron kind of jumps up and he wants to hit him.
Whip him, yeah.
Yeah, and Harry as Goyle is like, oh, it's just, he's got a stomach ache. Yeah. And so, like, Malfoy's, like, looking at the present or something, and they happen to look at each other, and Harry's scar is starting to show through, and Ron's hair is starting to come through. Yeah. So they're like, we gotta go. So they just run out, and Malfoy's like, what is up with these people?
Malfoy is so taken with that present. He
does not care.
Because it got real obvious real fast that they were changing. It was weird.
So they run out. They get back to the bathroom, and Moaning Myrtle is just like cackling. She's something very hilarious to her. And so they're like, Hermione, come out. And she's like, no, I don't want to. Yeah. They're like, what's wrong? She's like, how I said it was only supposed to be used for human transformations? Well, it was a cat hair instead of Millicent Bulstrode. So she's like a half cat. It's Cat Hermione. Yeah. So she's got her cat face and she's got a tail because she's like, look at my face. And Ron's like, look at your tail. So she has to go to the infirmary, basically, and wait for her normal self to come back.
Stop being a cat.
Because it's only supposed to last for an hour, but if you do something weird like that, it takes a lot longer to get back to normal. Harry notices, he's walking down the hall one day, and he notices, like, there's a bunch of water. I think it was the month
of May. I was walking down the hall one day. Anyway, go ahead. A lot of water. Mm-hmm. And they go into the bathroom.
There was a lot of
water.
All
the faucets are on.
He goes into the bathroom and it's flooded. Moaning Myrtle is like, well, Ron is there too, but Moaning Myrtle is like crying and everything. She's like, somebody threw something into my toilet, and she just like cries and runs off, or not runs off, but floats off. And so Harry walks over and he picks it up. It's a diary, but it's a blank diary. Yep. So he opens it up and like, after it's dried out and everything, he opens it up and he starts writing in it.
Why are people writing in this? I feel like it was explained better in the book of why people were kind of drawn to write in it, maybe. Because I don't just pick up diaries and start writing in them that I just find lying around.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it was blank, and I don't know why he decided why he was going to write it in the first place.
All he did was like put a pin on it, like make a big dot.
Well, like, I think in the book, maybe his pen is not working, so he shakes it or something, and some of the ink goes onto the page, and then it gets soaked up, and he's like, well, that's weird. So then he just writes into it. But I don't know why he was going to write it in the first place.
I don't know.
So anyway, he writes in it, and he's like, hi, my name's Harry Potter.
Convenience is why.
Yeah. He's like, hi, my name's Harry Potter. And the diary, like, it soaks up the ink, and then some of it comes back up, and he's like, hello, Harry, my name is Tom Riddle. Mm-hmm. Except for you thought it said something else because
the writing was bad.
Rodolphe.
It's bad handwriting.
So anyway, he's like, can you tell me about the Chamber of Secrets?
No.
He's like, no, but I can show you. So he gets like pulled into the diary. Mm-hmm. And of course, in the diary, he sees young Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
And
there's
a dead body being hauled off, and you don't know who it is yet. Yeah. You do find out eventually, but there's a dead body, and you see Dumbledore. Tom Riddle goes up to talk to Dumbledore, and he's like, are they going to close the school? And he's like, well, probably, because there's a dead person now. Yeah. So that's not good. So he's like, but this is the only home I've ever had, or whatever. and very similar to
Harry.
Harry. Nope. Very similar to Harry. And so he's like, well, what if somebody caught the person who's responsible, you know? And he's like, well, then I guess everything would be okay. He's like, okay, cool. And so then he goes and finds Hagrid.
Yeah.
Who's keeping something,
stuffing something in a box.
Monster in a chest.
Yeah.
And he's like, you've got to let it go, Hagrid. He's like, I don't want to.
No, I'm Hagrid. No.
Exactly. It's my friend. So he uses some kind of spell that opens the chest. A spider gets out and runs down the hallway, and he's like doing some kind of spell at it, but it gets away. And then he's like, Hagrid, you're going to be,
you're under arrest.
You're under citizen's arrest.
Wizard's arrest.
Yeah. So he's like, somebody has to pay for this or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's how Hagrid ended up being expelled from Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Oh, also, it says, like, when he goes into the diary, or before he goes into the diary, it says June 13th. And I'm like, June 13th? I thought that they're...
Oh, yeah, they're closed for the summer, aren't they?
I thought that they would have been closed by that time. I know that theirs runs longer than, you know...
But he doesn't have anywhere to go.
And it runs until, like, June... At some point in June.
Yeah.
But I thought that, like, by the beginning of June, that was when their, like, term ended or whatever. And they're still there the 13th. Dang.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah, but whatever. So they think that Hagrid opened the chamber. And Hermione's like, that doesn't make sense, but okay. Yeah. So they go to talk to him about it. And no, they don't go to talk to him about it yet. They're talking about him and he shows up and he's like,
oh yeah, talking about me?
He's like, you talked about me? And they're like, oh no. He's like, okay, well, whatever. And he just walks off. I don't know why he walked up to him in the first place. I forget.
Yeah.
So then it is time for the Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff Quidditch game.
Match,
and so they're getting ready to go out onto the field. And Miss McGonagall, Professor McGonagall shows up. And she's like...
Miss McGonagall, if you're nasty.
Yes, exactly. So Professor McGonagall shows up and she's like, this match has been canceled. And she's like, Harry, I need to see you. And we're going to go find Mr. Weasley because I have something to show you. Mm-hmm. So they get to the hospital wing. And there's Hermione and she's been petrified.
She's petrified.
So Hermione's petrified.
She's like, hey, she's holding this mirror. You know anything about it? They're like, no.
Nope. Cool. Don't know anything about that.
Because, you know, Hermione always had a mirror.
Always looking at herself in the mirror, you know. So vain.
You all right?
Just thinking of Hermione always being like, let me just look at myself. Oh my god. So they're kind of freaking out about everything. They decide to use the invisibility cloak to go see Hagrid so they can ask him about the Chamber of Secrets. Because they still think that he's probably the one who opened it.
Yep.
So they get down there. He's got like his crossbow out. Yeah. He's like ready to get somebody. And he lets him in. And he's about to tell him something. And then there's a knock on the door.
Yep.
And it's Dumbledore and Cornelius Fudge, who is the Minister of Magic.
Yep.
And they're like, all right.
You're under arrest.
You're under arrest. You got to go to Azkaban. And so he's like, well, this sucks.
I don't want to go to Azkaban.
And then there's another knock at the door, and it's Lucius Malfoy. Luscious Malfoy himself. So he's like, yeah, so Dumbledore, you're out. Yeah. Sorry, you can't be
signed by all 12 members of whatever.
Of the board of trustees or whatever.
Yeah. You're out. You're suspended.
Yeah, you're gone. So he's
Pack your stuff.
So he's like, okay. Well, if anyone needs my help, I will always be there for them, or something like that. I forget exactly what he says.
Straight at him and winks at him.
Yeah, he's like, wink, wink.
So good at...
It's like, and then everybody else is like, what the heck is he winking at, you know? So subtle.
So dumb.
And so, he says, help will always be available for those who need it.
Yeah.
And so he's let out, and then they're like, all right, Hagrid, we gotta take you too. And he's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, you know, if anybody wanted to know anything about anything, they should follow the spiders.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Someone out there? Follow the spiders. Yeah. Also, feed my dog.
Yes.
Please take care of Fang while I'm gone. Anyone who might happen to be invisible in this cottage. Wink, wink. And they're like, okay, Hagrid, you're weird. Behavior. Let's go. So they cart him off to Azkaban.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, I guess we just follow the spiders now.
Yep.
Which Ron is like afraid of spiders. He hates spiders.
I hate spiders too. I feel him.
Yeah. I love that he's like, why couldn't it have been follow the butterflies? Yeah, I feel you, Ron. So they go out into the Forbidden Forest because that's where all the spiders are going.
Yeah.
They get out there. There's this big spider. His name is Aragog, which they know because that's what Hagrid called him in the memory.
That was the one that escaped.
And so he's like, no, I'm not the monster from the Chamber of Secrets. We're afraid of that. That's why we're all running away from the castle, you dummies. So they're like, oh, well, okay. Well,
thanks for the info.
Thanks. I guess we'll go now. And he's like, yeah.
I won't hurt you, but my babies.
He's like, but my family really needs to feed. And I only said that I wouldn't eat Hagrid. So, sorry, friend of Hagrid. Ya dinner.
Yeah.
So they start coming out of the woodwork.
Why did Hagrid send that to her? Like,
because it's Hagrid. He thinks that every animal is. He thinks that animals are like just inherently nice, and they're not.
Insane.
It's just Hagrid.
So how are they gonna get out of this?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a
random car shows up.
Car could show up.
Why? This is so stupid.
The car of plot convenience?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm a sentient car. Really, car? You couldn't fly yourself that whole time when Ron's doing these barrel rolls out there? You couldn't be like, guys, let's just correct ourselves here. Okay, we're good. I'll fly you to Hogwarts or whatever, because I want to go hang out in the forest, apparently. Mm-hmm. It's so dumb.
So, yeah, the car shows up. It rescues them. They've managed to get out of there. And then the car's like, all right, well, I'm going to go back. So, see you guys later. And then it just goes back into the forest. Yeah. But they're safe.
They're fine. Yeah, he just takes off back to the forest. What is he doing in that forest?
Lives there now.
That's so weird.
Maybe it runs with the centaurs and stuff. I don't know. It's like how much horsepower you got.
That's good.
They get inside, and there's an announcement. Everybody's supposed to go to their, I was about to say to their homerooms, to their common rooms. And all the teachers need to go to this place, this certain place. And so Harry and Ron are like, well, obviously we're going to go where the teachers are because we want to find out what's happening. So they get there. They overhear that someone has been taken into the chamber and they don't know what they're going to do. I guess they're just going to have to close down the school. Dumbledore's not there anymore. And Lockhart shows up and he's like, oh, and Snape's like, hey, Lockhart, weren't you just telling me yesterday that you know where the Chamber of Secrets opening is? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. I was saying that. That sounds about right. Well, I'm gonna go get some stuff so that I can go, rescue this person that's down there. Yeah. They're like, all right, cool. So he goes off and they're like, yeah, he's not gonna do that. So they're like, so who is it that was taken into the chamber? And they're like, Ginny Weasley. No. And so Ron's like, oh my gosh, my sister. And Harry's like, oh, my friend's sister. who gave me a Valentine. Aww. But it wasn't in the movie. Nope. But it was in the book. Yeah. Because it says something about the Valentine says something about your eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad.
Smooth.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact poem that is on there, but it was really funny. And like it ends with like the boy who defeated the Dark Lord or something like that. It's great. But she gets real embarrassed because Malfoy, of course, overhears it because it's like because there's it's like a dwarf or something, but it's dressed as Cupid and it has to sing it. It's like a singing telegram kind of thing. That's or weird. Singing Valentine. Yeah. And so it sings it out to him, and then everybody, of course, in the hallway hears it, and Jenny's there, and she's so embarrassed, and of course Malfoy's like, well, obviously we know who sent in that one. And she's like, oh my god, I want to die.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, Ginny's been taken. Yeah. So they're like, well, obviously Lockhart knows what he's talking about, so we're gonna go find him. So they go to him, and he's like, oh, well, I just got a message that I gotta go somewhere, so I'm packing up. And
sorry, guys, I really want to help.
Yeah, and the thing said, and her skeleton will lie in the chamber forever, or whatever. So it's like, oh, okay, but she's gonna die, so you need to help us. And he's like, yeah, not gonna happen, guys. And they're like, but you did all of these amazing things. And he's like, No.
Alright.
No, other people did them, and I just took their stories, and I'm really, really good at memory charms. So I made them forget that they did the stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, bro, that's
messed up.
That's real messed up. And so he's like, so now I'm going to have to do the same to you. And they're like, no, because there's 2 of us against you. So they realize that maybe the person who died 50 years ago never left
the bathroom
because maybe it was Moaning Myrtle, because it was. And so they go in there and she's talking and she tells them, they're like, Myrtle, we're here to we just want to know how you died. And she's like, oh, okay. Okay, so here's the scoop. Because she's like so excited. She's like, yes, finally somebody wants to know how I died. I've been waiting for this for 50 years.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I was crying in the toilet. And she's like, and
somebody
I heard
made fun of her glasses.
Yeah, because Olive Hornby was making fun of my glasses. And so she's like, I was crying and I heard something. It was a strange made up language. And I realized it was a boy. And she's like, and he can't be in here. So she's like, so I opened up the door and I died. She's like, all I saw was a pair of big yellow eyes.
Yeah.
But at one point she was like, when she was talking about how she was crying and everything, she was like, I was distraught. Which I just sometimes randomly say. So yeah, she got killed and she was like, they came from over there at that sink. So they're like, all right. So they go over there. There's like a little snake that is on the side of the sink. And so it's like, well, obviously this is the Chamber of Secrets. Sure. So does Harry say something to it? Yeah, he says something in parcel tongue. And it opens up this wide hole. Yeah. Oh, because we forgot to say that they found out what the monster was. Oh, yeah. Because Hermione had taken a page out of a book in the library and written on it. And it was about a basilisk. Mm-hmm. And it tells like, basilisks are... what is it? They can be killed by the rooster's crow or something. That's why the roosters are all dying. Oh. Or why somebody's killing the roosters. And spiders are scared of it. And she had written in like the margins the word pipes because that's how it was getting around the castle through the pipes. And so they're like, and obviously it's a basilisk. I can talk to it because it's a snake. Right. And that's what Harry says because, it's all about Harry.
Of course it is.
So they know what the monster is. Oh, and so they all go, they just push Lockhart.
Yeah, he's going first. They're like, to make sure they don't die.
They're like, you get to go first. They push him down the hole and
I guess if it's a basilisk, they can get up that pretty easily. And I guess push Tom Riddle up there. Because I'm like, how did they get in and out of that? Because it's just a pipe. Yeah. Like, how is Tom running up and down this thing? There's no stairs.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but if he's, being pushed by the basilisk, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, but I mean, but then the basilisk has to go back down there, and then it closes the chamber itself. I don't know. It makes no sense.
Yeah, not a lot of thought went into this.
No. So, anyway, they push Lockhart down there. He screams, and then he hits the bottom. He's like, oh, it's disgusting down here. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, he's fine, so I guess we'll be fine. So they jump down there. But before they do, Myrtle's like, Harry. And she's like, what? And she's like, if you die down there, you can share my toilet. And he's like, thanks. Myrtle. He's like, I hope I never die.
That is not a couple that ever want Harry on Harry, female Harry action. Ugh. That's gross, bro.
So anyway, he jumps down, or they both jump down, and they see
it's like a big slide.
Yeah.
Even though Lockhart got down there real quick. Yeah. They're on this real long slide where they're screaming the whole time. None of it makes sense.
No. And so they get down there, they see this big snake skin. So obviously it can come in and out of the chamber. Yeah. Because it's got the snake, this shed skin outside of it. Right. So there's a big snake skin there.
It's just Tom I have questions about how he's getting in and out.
Yeah. Or how he was getting in and out. Yeah. 50 years ago.
Or the Slytherin guy, how he got in and out of there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyways, they see the snake skin
and they realize why none of the people died. Because...
Oh, yeah.
Because...
We didn't talk about that.
Another thing that drove me crazy.
They talk about how all the people were petrified. So the first thing that was petrified was Mrs. Norris because she was looking at the reflection of it in the water that was on the ground.
Because there was just water on the ground.
There was water on the ground because Moaning Myrtle had gotten pissed off earlier in the day and had
How
left.
Convenient.
Because somebody had been in her thing because Jenny had been in there to open the chamber.
It's true.
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. It was Jenny.
It was Jenny.
It was Jenny all along. So she had like spilled water everywhere. She was annoyed. And so Mrs. Norris had come around the corner or whatever, was looking in the reflection of the water.
Because, cats don't look around them if they hear things around them.
Exactly.
They look at water.
Exactly. And so that's how she was petrified. Colin Creevey was petrified because he was looking at it through his camera. And of course, there are mirrors inside of cameras.
Which doesn't make sense either, because he didn't look at it before he raised up his camera to take it. He's just always walking around with the camera in front of him.
He is obsessed with that camera.
He is, but he still usually has to raise it.
I mean, did you not see him like several times? It was just him holding his camera up.
Yes.
Maybe he just walks down the hallway just hoping Harry Potter will be there.
His arms are just ripped.
Yeah.
It's
so he didn't see it because of that. Or he didn't. Yeah. He was petrified because of that. Nearly Headless Nick. Oh. Justin Finch Fletchley saw it through Nearly Headless Nick.
Why were they hanging out in the hall just randomly?
I don't know. And Nearly Headless Nick probably got the full, probably saw it full on, but it didn't matter because he was a ghost. He's already dead, so I couldn't kill him, so it just petrified him.
Yeah. Still very convenient.
Yeah. And then Hermione, of course, had the mirror.
Her mirror obsession.
Yeah, well, we
have not seen this whole time.
No, she had the mirror because she had read not to look it in the face or it could kill you. So that's why she had the mirror, and she was going around corners in the hallway. Because it does explain it a little more in the book, because there's actually another character that does the same thing. Because she sees her in the library, and because her name is Penelope Clearwater, and they're both going around with mirrors. So that they don't get killed, and they both get petrified. And it turns out that it turns out that Penelope Clearwater is Percy's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one point in the book where Ginny was trying to say something. She was acting like she wanted to say something that was really, really important. And she was going to say that she was the one who had opened the Chamber of Secrets. But Percy was like, no, you can't tell anybody, because he thought it was that she was going to say, hey, I walked in on Percy and his girlfriend making out. Mm-hmm. So Percy could have saved everybody all of this trouble by just being like, yeah, I got a girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And letting her, tell people. But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they see the snake skin and they're like, oh, wow, that's a big snake. And Lockhart just passes out, and they're like, wow, he's
so strong.
He's so brave. And of course, he was just faking.
Yeah.
And so he grabs Ron's wand and he's like, all right, now I've got a wand, so it's time to erase your memories. So he goes to erase Harry's memories and he's like, obliviate. And when he does, of course, it backfires because he's using Ron's wand.
Broken wand, yeah.
And of course, it backfires, and he obliviates himself, so he does not remember who he is.
Yep.
So there we go.
And the spell is so powerful, it apparently makes the whole ceiling fall down.
Well, when he obliviates himself, because of course spells always knock people back.
Yes.
In this, apparently.
Yeah.
It knocks him into the wall, which causes part of the chamber to fall.
Because he's made of steel.
I guess so. Anyway, so it blocks off Ron from Harry. So Harry's like, well, I guess I'm on my own. Oh, but also when Lockhart comes to and he's like, who are you? And he's like, Ron Weasley. And he's like, who am I? And he's like, oh my gosh, Lockhart doesn't know who he is. And then Ron just takes a rock and hits him in the head.
Just probably gives him some brain injury. Jeez, could have murdered him right there.
Why does he do that? Anyway.
Yeah, it was real unnecessary.
I'm like, that's not cool.
No.
So anyway, Ron's like, well, I'm going to try to find a way out of here or whatever. And Harry's like, okay, well, I'm going to the chamber. See you later.
See ya.
Peace out. So he goes to the chamber and he does his little parcel mouse.
Parcel mouse.
His little parcel tongue thing. Opens the chamber. He goes inside. Jenny is there. She's laying on the ground. And he like runs up and just drops his wand like
he's an
idiot.
He drops everything.
And so he's like, Jenny, wake up. And she's just like totally out of it. And from out of the shadows comes Tom Riddle. And he's like, what? How are you like that? Because you're like supposed to be a memory. And he's like, well, I've been taking the life force from Ginny Weasley. She's the one who opened the chamber and she's been helping me and all this stuff. And I've been controlling her.
Stronger, I guess.
Exactly. And so pretty soon she's going to be dead and I'm going to be fully alive again. And he's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, also give me my wand back because
he dropped his wand. And
Tom picks it up and he's like, no, I think I'll keep this.
Yeah.
And so he's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, well, because I'm Lord Voldemort.
Yeah. Because if you rearrange the letters of my name, it spells, I am Lord Voldemort. Oh my gosh. Get out. Because his middle name is what?
His middle name is Marvolo.
Common middle name.
Which
not
I
completely just engineered just to make this stupid reveal.
I always want to say it Marvolo, but it's supposed to be pronounced Marvolo, and every time I'm like, that sounds stupid.
Yes.
But yeah, it's real dumb. And then
it's real dumb.
My favorite part about it, though, and I told you this, is that they have to fix it for other languages also, so that it will be, translate. And so for
Lord knows we can't get rid of this great reveal.
Exactly. So for French, they're trying to get je suis Lord Voldemort or whatever. And so it's like, to get that, they had to give his middle name as Elvis.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I honestly prefer Elvis over
it so
Marvello or whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's so much better. Tom Elvis Riddle. Love it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Tom Riddle has left the building. So anyway.
Just the worst reveal in history.
Yeah, it makes me giggle every time I see it. So, yeah, he's Lord Voldemort, and he's also the heir of Slytherin, so of course he opened the chamber. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't really care anymore about all the people that he petrified and tried to kill, because for the past several months, all he's cared about is trying to get Harry. Because he knows, he has learned from Jenny, basically, that Harry is his downfall in his future. So he wants to kill Harry.
Yep.
So he's like, well, good luck fighting my basilisk. Yep. And he releases the basilisk, basically. But Harry is like, well, I need help, and help will always be provided for those who ask for it. And then suddenly, here comes,
of course,
the Phoenix, Fawkes the Phoenix, and is carrying the Sorting Hat.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, oh, great, Dumbledore sent you a bird in a hat. Good job. What an idiot.
Well, Harry gets that hat and immediately springs to action by dropping the hat.
Oh, yeah, he just leaves it on the floor.
I hate Harry Potter.
He just leaves it right next to Jenny's body.
He's the worst.
So the basilisk comes out. It's following him. And then Fawkes shows up and eats its eyes, basically. Or pecks out its eyes, so it's blind. So it can't petrify him. Or it can't petrify him and it can't kill him that way.
Yeah, that way.
So he's like, your bird may have blinded my basilisk, but he can still hear you. Yeah. So Harry runs off and it is chasing him and everything. He finally gets away from it. We don't really care how. By just throwing a rock, basically.
Dumb snake.
Yeah, you stupid snake. So he goes out and of course Tom has to monologue some more and everything.
Yeah. Of course.
Because he's the villain. He's got to do that. And the basilisk shows up again, but from out of the Sorting Hat comes...
It just appears.
A sword. It appears... Yeah, a sword appears. So...
I don't know how that works.
Harry grabs it. He starts fighting the basilisk. And finally, it comes after him. It lunges after him. He stabs it through the head. Mm-hmm. But as he does it, one of its teeth pierces him. And so he's got a basilisk tooth stuck in him. So he pulls it out. It's poisonous.
So tough.
Yeah, it's poisonous.
Rips out a tooth.
So it's going to kill him.
Thank goodness.
And, oh my gosh. And so Tom's like, well, you're screwed anyway. You may have killed the basilisk, but you're still going to die. And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to kill you first.
Yeah.
So he grabs the diary and he just like stabs it.
Murders the diary.
He stabs the diary like 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time that he stabs it, it like breaks part of Tom apart until finally he just explodes. And Jenny like wakes up. She's like,
fine.
Whoa. That was weird.
It was
Harry,
me.
what are you doing here? It was me. I was the one who opened it. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it and everything. He's like, no, that's cool. And she's like, you're injured.
That's cool. I'm poisoned. Don't worry.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm dying. But if you go that way, you're going to find Ron. He's going to help you out. But I'm just going to die here. So leave me alone.
See ya.
And she's like, no.
That's it.
I love you. No, she doesn't say that.
Doesn't.
No, but he's
But you
like,
know who's really upset?
he's like, yeah, but I'm dying, and yeah, but who's really upset? Fox the Phoenix comes up and is like, oh, bro, sorry. Oh, and this was the part where you're like, kiss.
Because they got real close. They were like moving in face to face. I'm like, is he gonna kiss his bird?
They were really close.
I really wish they had.
So yeah, Fox says apparently he's just distraught. He's distraught.
Yes.
And so he starts crying, and of course,
And I thought he spit on him.
so he cries onto Harry's wound, and then Harry's like, ew, gross, get these tears off of me. No, he's fine with it, because he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Phoenixes have healing powers. Phoenix tears have healing powers.
Yeah.
Which was mentioned earlier.
But he forgot. Even though, even stuff he's told directly will save him. He's too dumb to remember.
He's like, oh yeah, Dumbledore did say something about that, didn't he? That's kind of cool.
Fox has to force cry on his wounds.
He's like, I'm not sad at all, but let me just think of some sad memory.
Your stupidity makes me cry.
He's like, you're so dumb, Harry.
You're our hero, really? Oh, no. Yeah, but he's like, all right.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just thinking of that time. I'm just thinking of when they ripped me from my mother's nest. And okay, maybe I can work up a few tears.
Gotta find it. He's a great actor.
Great.
Fox is the best.
So, it heals him. He's fine. They all escape together because
Fox carries
because phoenixes can carry, like, I don't know how much times their weight, but a lot. They can carry a lot of weight. So they fly up.
It looks great.
Through, like, this ravine-looking thing. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So they fly out of there.
I feel like the Chamber of Secrets could have been found easily if there was this huge ravine this whole time.
Yeah, with a snake skin at the bottom.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they fly out of there, and everything's fine.
Yep. Everybody's healed.
Yep. Harry and Ron, they're like, nice job. You saved people.
We did it.
In the book, they get, like, a special award.
Oh, yeah.
For services to the school or whatever.
I'm glad they didn't do that.
And then Jenny's fine also. I'm sure she's feeling real bad about being the person who opened the chamber and almost killing people. And all the people who were petrified, the mandrakes are fully grown, so they can make the potion to unpetrify them. They can murder them and chop them up into bits and boil them and give them to the people to unpetrify them. So, yay! We get to kill the mandrakes.
We did it!
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
are we the heroes? I don't understand. I don't know.
So anyway, Dumbledore is like standing there, like, good job, Harry. And then Mr. Luscious himself comes in, and followed by Dobby, because Dobby is the Malfoy's house elf.
Yes.
So we find that out.
Another troubling part of wizardry that we'll get into.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's so bad. So yeah, he's their house elf, and basically they imply that, he was the one behind all of this happening. Yeah. And Dumbledore just lets him go, though. He's like, all right, well, see you later, I guess.
Yep. Bye.
So he walks out, kicking Dobby all the way down the stairs.
He's good.
Yep. And so they're walking out. Harry's like, Professor, can I borrow this book? And he's like, yeah, sure, you can have it. I don't care. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
It's worthless to me. So he takes it and runs down the hallway. He's like, Mr. Malfoy, you forgot your book. I know that you put this in Ginny Weasley's cauldron. It's like, yeah, so do we, because we saw it happen. Yep. At the beginning of the movie.
I didn't see it the first time.
No, we had to rewind it because I was like, did you see it? Huh? Did you see what happened? Did you see that? And you're like, no, I was looking at my phone. I'm like, dang it. Rewind that.
So he just gives the book straight to Dobby.
Yeah,
he's like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want this nasty book. And he gives it to Dobby, and he starts walking away, and Harry's like, Dobby, open the book. Yeah. So he opens it, and there's a sock in there. He's like, Master has given Dobby a sock. Dobby is a free elf.
Yeah, that's how you become free as a house elf. You get a piece of clothing.
Yes, if your master gives you a piece of clothing, you are free. Yeah. So he's like, I'm free. And Malfoy's like, you lost me my servant. He like goes to attack him, and Dobby saves him. You will not hurt Harry Potter. You must not hurt Harry Potter. So he saves him. Lucius Malfoy just walks away. He's like, whatever. I don't care about this anymore. He just goes away. And then Dobby's like, okay, thanks. And Harry's like, never try to save my life again. He's like, okay. So that's all that. And then they're eating dinner. All the petrified people are back, meaning Hermione comes back. She, like, hugs Harry, and then she shakes hands with Ron because they don't want to hug each other because they secretly like each other. And then Hagrid comes in, and everybody's like, yay, Hagrid's back, even though we don't know who he is. This is great. And that's how it ends.
Yep, pretty much. So, I feel like I liked the book better than the movie.
Yeah.
There were honestly times I was falling asleep in this movie while watching this.
Oh, we both napped as soon as it was over.
Oh, yeah, it wore me out. But there were times I'm like, I was fighting to keep my eyes open just to get through this. I can see why I left it last time.
Yeah, it's a tough one to get through. It's way too long.
It's too long. Not much action, just a lot of talking and going around. And the action is, oh, there's a frozen person on the ground. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, boy. Okay. So, but yeah, I do feel like I liked the book a lot better. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe it's good that Christopher Columbus got off the project at this point.
Christopher Columbus. I can't believe I did that. Oh my gosh. Now, there is a really interesting fan fiction that I've read that takes place during this one.
Where he gets with Fox?
No, that would be weird.
I'm going to write that.
No, it's basically, it's called The Very Secret Diary, and it's just Jenny writing in the diary and Tom writing back to her. And he's like, if you want to read a book about someone being gaslit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Because, I mean, she's talking to Voldemort.
Yeah.
And he's, like, slowly gaining control over her, getting her trust and everything. It's real weird. But it's interesting. Yeah. And then she starts realizing what's happening, and she starts fighting back.
Right. That's interesting.
But it's a good one. The only thing is, it was written before the 5th book, I think, came out. Oh. So they didn't know what Jenny's real name was. So in the whole time he calls her Virginia, but that's not her name. Her name is Ginevra. Oh. Right. And so yeah, it's weird. But because it's like you're reading it and it's like her name's not Virginia. But nobody knew because nobody knew what her actual name was.
It's true.
But yeah, and then at the end of the book, since he calls her Virginia the whole time, she's like, when Dumbledore calls her Virginia, and she's like, don't call me that name. I don't want to be called that name anymore. You can call me, I just want to be Jenny. Yeah. And so, but he's like, he tells her, don't let him take that from you, Don't let him win, basically. Yeah. So anyway, it's really interesting.
Sounds interesting. Sounds more interesting than this.
It's kind of annoying because she's like, an 11-year-old girl, and she's just talking and everything, and she's talking a lot about
Harry. About boys.
Especially Harry.
Doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
And probably. Then she has a crush on Harry, so she talks about him a lot. And then, like, as she starts talking to Tom, she starts getting a crush on Tom. And he like shows her pieces from his life too. So of course she sees him and she's like, "Oh, he's kind of hot. He's cute. Who's this cutie?" It's like, that's Voldemort.
That's an evil person.
Yeah, and she does figure out who he is before he fully takes possession of her and everything. Yeah. And that's when she starts fighting back. But it's interesting. So if you like fan fiction, there you go. There's something for you to listen to or watch.
Check it out.
What? Read, gosh. Listen to? Watch? No. Read.
All right. Well, let's get to our snack. All right. So our snack, in quotes this time.
Yeah, it's not really a food item. It's a drink.
Yes, you found recipes for... Is this a Polyjuice potion is what it's supposed to be?
I was looking for okay, it was really hard to find something that would fit with this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they drink Polyjuice potion. I wonder if we can find like a cocktail.
Yeah.
That is a Polyjuice potion cocktail.
You would think there would be
There are
plenty.
so many,
are.
and most of them look disgusting.
They're all green. Everybody wants to do green.
Yeah, and a lot of them have a bunch of stuff that I don't have and don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's pick one that's
keep it simple.
pretty simple.
Yeah, that's the thing with cocktails. It's like this whole list of different alcohols, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to spend $100
Yeah.
on a cocktail.
Yeah, it's like, and get fresh some kind of juice, and then add these bitters, and add this, and don't forget to muddle your mint, and do all. And I'm like, I don't know what. I don't know how to do that
I don't want
stuff.
to do all that.
That's too much.
Yeah.
So what we have is, it is,
It looks very cloudy and colorful, like the Polyjuice, I would
and
say.
it's got like a froth.
It does.
So what it's made of is like the rainbow sherbet. We say sherbet because we're from the South.
That's right.
We add that extra R. It's supposed to be sherbet, but
Yeah, we don't care.
yeah. So rainbow sherbet,
Yeah.
and it's got.
Because it called for lime, but we could only find rainbow.
Well, it said the one that I had rainbow or lime.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like you could do it with either.
Okay.
So we did the rainbow because that was all we could find. It was hard to even find that.
Yeah, it was.
And it's sugar free or fat free or
Fat-free,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, fat free.
Whatever that means.
So yay, good for us. So it's got that. It also has vodka and it has 7-Up in it.
Yes.
And that's basically it. So the 7-Up is what kind of gives it the frothiness. So it's kind of like a float, basically.
Yeah.
If you think about it. But an
Yep.
alcoholic float. But his is a little more green.
Mine's green,
because his has a little more of the lime in it, and mine had a little more of the orange in it. So mine's a
Yeah.
little more orange.
Here's a little yellowish
Mine's kind of
brown.
fleshy looking color.
Yeah.
It's gross. But
Now we're going to put each other's hair in there.
sprinkle that. There we go.
I'm going to turn into you.
You're going to turn into me. It's going to be real interesting.
It is.
So, all right, let's
All right,
taste
give it
it.
a try.
Oh, gosh, it's so frothy. I
It's
couldn't get into the
very
drink.
frothy. It's got some vodka in there.
Yeah. I tried to put more 7-Up, but
Yeah.
it frothed so much that I was like, I can't fit any more in there.
Anymore, yeah.
But,
It's not bad.
and we can add more 7-Up.
Yeah.
Or more of the,
One more sherbet.
Sherbet.
Yeah. I do think it'd be better without vodka.
you can make it without, so.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
know.
it probably would be pretty good.
Probably more like a float.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. You were saying you thought it was a lot of vodka being added. Mm-hmm. I doubted, but you were right.
Because it was like, put a whole shot of vodka. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like when I put it in there and I was like, that seems like a lot compared to how much other stuff is in there.
Yeah. I think I was expecting better. Maybe it needs more sherbet. Maybe it just needs more experimenting on.
Yeah. And it said 1 or 2 scoops. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm putting 2 scoops.
Yeah.
And then I put a little bit extra too. So I got to put a lot
Yeah.
in there. It melted really fast though.
Yeah. All right.
It's okay.
Well, now I look like you. You look like me. We still have the same voices, though.
Yeah.
So,
it's real strange
it's
seeing
weird.
my voice come out of.
Wilson is freaking
Yeah.
out. He doesn't know what to do. So what do you rate this concoction?
I don't
It's
know.
tough. It's not one of my favorite cocktails
No.
ever.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad. It could be better, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think just playing around with it a little more could probably get it up there.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I want to go with a 4 or a 5.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a 5. Because it's okay.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with the lower end and go 4.
Okay.
It's just, I could have a lot of other cocktails that I like better. It's not bad. I think I expected a lot better. My disappointment works into that a little.
Well, I'm not the one who came up with the idea.
You did
so.
what you could. You did, and yeah, we'll play around with it a little more. All right. Well, do you have a cocktail you like related to Harry Potter that we can? Because we got a lot more movies. So if you have any recipes or cocktails you think are good, send it our way.
At some point, we'll have to do
Yeah,
butterbeer.
it's true.
I do have some butterscotch schnapps in there.
Boy.
Because I've made butterbeer before.
Can't wait. You know I love my butterscotches.
Yeah. He hates butterscotch.
Hate's a strong word.
Okay, he dislikes butterscotch. How about that?
We'll go into more once we do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it, especially.
But if you can think of anything that goes with specifically with certain movies in the franchise.
We definitely want to know.
Yeah.
And you can let us know on Twitter at HavingFunCast or on Facebook at HavingFunPod.
Or you can send us an email at havingfunpod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
We also have our YouTube channel, of course, where these episodes come out in video form.
Yep.
Usually around, it's usually within like 24 hours.
You do a good job of getting them turned around.
Yeah. I try to get them within 24 hours of when they come out in the podcast apps. So yeah, we do have those. And so if you would like to listen to us with the videos instead, you can do that. And we are going to be recording a new Universal Yums box.
Yeah.
Thing,
excited
taste test
about
kind
it.
of thing. Yeah, this one is going to be from Poland.
And it's looking good.
We've already peeked inside and saw what was in there, and everything looks really good.
It
so
does.
I'm so excited about it.
We're pretty pumped.
Yeah, so I think this might be our favorite box. Hopefully, unless something crazy happens.
We'll see. Will it pay off? We'll have to see.
Exactly. So we'll have that one up in the next few days. So be on the lookout for that.
Yep. And I guess that's it. So go have some fun and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.